How you doing, everybody? I hope you're well. Sorry, we had a little delay there. I was messing with the light. It's been a very long day. Go ahead and so this time I'm streaming on. Man, it's been a long day. We had some unexpected news that I thought we should talk about. So I picked myself up and got some coffee and let's do this. So this time I'm multi-streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and wanted to try something new. So streaming on Facebook and Twitch. So if you could drop a like and of course comment and subscribe, especially on YouTube, we're trying to build this thing up. I hope you guys are well. Um, if you have thoughts on President Biden's decision today, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Right now, I thought that I would say, what I think, and then we could talk about it. And yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to momentarily close the chat because I tend to be distractible, and then get back into it. But I appreciate you guys. So I'm gonna. It's quite a day. It's a historic event. Um, yeah, actually, I'm gonna check first to see what you guys think, and then I'll kind of weigh in. Yeah, good to see you, Gail Sassafras. Now I'm like thinking, like I thought I knew what I was gonna say, and now I'm kind of like, it's the nature of the live beast. So let me see what you think. Jonathan, what's up? Yaha, ham it up again. What's going on? Um, all right, I'll just go ahead because dead air is the worst thing in this kind of. I want to do another video on this. I've been watching this other streamer. It's a separate story, but just like the one thing you can't do when you're a broadcaster is dead air. It's like dead air is a killer. You just have to like keep talking, and I'm worried. So I'll just say it. Yeah, like I have a different opinion. I'll try to keep it brief and then we can talk. Um, I get it, but I'm very worried about the way this played out. And there were many ways to go about this. I don't think this was the best idea. I know a lot of people don't agree with me. Um, some people talk about a phrase trading one unknown for another. Uh, it appears to me that that's what's going on here. So yeah, maybe that's what I'll say about it. I you got to kind of step back and kind of look at what just happened, right? Uh, but I'm really, yeah, interested in your thoughts. Sassafras said, "Don't be shy, just speak your mind." Yes, and I do need to work on that. Even though I've been like broadcasting a long time, and I just like it's just I don't know. I don't know. Like yeah, Gail said dead air is the worst. Yes, agree, Gail. Yes, if you're going to be a broadcaster, dead air is the worst. You just have to keep talking. Something that's not historically been a problem for me, but uh, I was playing that out of my head during the day, like how I was going to go about this, and now then I just like opened my mouth and I was like, hmm. But we can dialogue about it. It's like I guess history will be the judge, right? We'll see in November. That's kind of the best way, I guess. We'll find out, but uh, yeah, I'm concerned about it. That I'm concerned not to keep repeating myself, but uh, I told some friends in a group chat earlier. I was again the only person there who kind of felt this way, and I said we're going into the unknown now, and we had an idea of where we were going with the flaws that we were dealing with, but we kind of knew where the direction we we're headed. Now we're truly headed into the unknown. Just something to think about. Um, uh, hey Deb, nice to see you. And Real Sassafras said, they say history repeats itself, except we've never had this before. That's a great point. Yeah, this is, if there's a historical precedent, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, the election's in just a few months, right? So, ooh, it's crazy. And we need moderator SPTV Tattoo Warrior. No, the chat's good so far. Very good. My channel is always pretty good. So yeah, it seems like seems like a collective opinion is that I don't know, things are going to be okay or it's a good move. I appreciate your guys, perspective. I always do. Um, Jonathan said, I'm hearing some of the most loyal Democratic supporters I know say they uh, want Biden to step down. I feel like it's better to try an untested strategy than go forward with a terrible strategy. I mean, look, sometimes you do have to go into the unknown. My improv background, I did a lot of improv before I got into some journalism and other things. So that's like a fundamental basis in improv, right? You dive into the unknown because that's where that gold is. So that's a good point, Jonathan. Um, and we could come out, the country could come out much stronger. Um, I dropped a couple articles at the top of the chat that I just found interesting. I was just skimming. Like I said, I've been going since almost 5:30 in the morning. So my bad if I'm if a little scattered today. Some of these articles deal with just there's a political article, what happens next, what an open convention is, because I'm learning too. You know, it's we're definitely going into the unknown, that's for sure. Deb said, I'm not the only one that worried about this election. Never seen anything so messy. Yeah. I saw someone else, I think it was Josh Marshall from Talking Points Memo, who's a really good reporter. And he said something like I thought was very effective, which Josh said that, this country has been through big, we've been tested. I think he mentioned World War II. We've been through a lot. And I guess what he was trying to say is like, basically, things happen in life, right? It's how we deal with it. And that's so true. That's true in our personal lives. That's true. That's true in what happened today, right? So I believe we can rise to any challenge. I do believe that, but I also do get nervous sometimes. Ingrid said, I agree. I can't wait to see the Harris-Trump debate. Yes. I think Harris is great. I think she's a great, take my reporter hat off, put on my commentator, which I'm really like, I always will love reporting, but I want to like do more like, I want to like do more stuff like this. So Harris is I think is a great candidate. I was hearing, she's just got that, like that. I really think that she can win this thing. Don't get me wrong. She can. I'm nervous about the other stuff, but she's a truly great candidate. In a political arena that is pretty tough these days. I wonder if they are going to debate, by the way. I heard, I've been trying to skim the news all day. I mean, they need to debate, but will Trump agree to debate? I honestly, I don't know. Let's see what else. Yeah. Well, feel free to drop your opinions in the chat and remember to like, comment, and subscribe. How many months do we have till November? It's gone. I'm not much of a counter. August, September. Wow, it's coming up. I've got a lot of friends who are going to the Democratic convention. If you guys check on the page, I interviewed my friend, reporter Sean Beckner Carmitchell at the RNC the other day. So check that out. And I would love to, I'm hoping to interview Sean again at the DNC. I would love to be there myself on location. It's challenging to get those kind of trips together and to all that stuff. But if not, I'll do some kind of setup right here and I'll interview some of the great reporters who are out there. 110 days, said Sassafras. Wow. That sounds like the movie version of this, like the 110 days coming up. Free from Lies, good screen name. So yeah, if you're just coming in, we are talking about, kind of reminds me of this old SNL sketch where it was like Tim Meadows played this host on TV at like 4:30 in the morning. Perspectives. Did you guys ever see that? And every couple seconds he would repeat, Well, if you're just tuning in, it's 4:33 in the AM or something like that. So yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. It seems like most people feel that this is a good move. If you heard the beginning, I'm a little nervous about it, but time will tell. History will tell. And I see we have 22 people in here. I thank you for that. I also tried a multi-streaming this on Facebook, which is I don't know. I wanted to change it up a little bit. So and Twitch. Um, and Sassafras said there was oh, okay. Talking about your screen name. Yes. I've noticed that happens a lot on YouTube. There's like seems like that's kind of an issue. So that's why people mod each other. I'm learning, make someone a mod. So it's like then I guess it's the right person. Very interesting. Um, Jonathan said, I'm still hoping I can make it. Jonathan, I hope you can make it too. Jonathan, great reporter, a friend of mine. Jonathan, I would say go ahead and plug your. I don't know if it lets you post links in there, but I'd be happy to plug your stuff. See if I can pull it up. Yeah, it's tough to it's really tough to kind of get to some of these things, you know. I mean, it's all right. I'll find it later. Uh, yeah, Jonathan, you can feel free to try to post the link, though. I think YouTube might block them, but feel free. Um, yeah, it's tough to fund these, especially for independent media, which is so crucial. And Sean and I talked about that the other day, how important that is on our stream during the RNC. It's tough to fund these trips. Plus, hotels triple in price and all that stuff. So it's not easy. What do you guys think the DNC is going to be like? I mean, the RNC was protests and things like that were definitely down, which Sean and I talked about. So, it. I'm I'm just like thinking about it now. I'm like, I really need to get to Chicago. Like uh, oh man. All right, let's see what's going on. LA Deb said, I expressed some of my views on social media and got unfollowed. Yeah, that's just like, I don't know. I lately I've been like staying indoors and writing, and I just like that stuff gets like so old, right? Like it's just like this like vitriol in this country. Like I don't want to say I'm mellowing a little bit, but like I've noticed a change in myself, not like just a little while ago. Like um I don't know. I You still stand up for your principles, I don't you don't compromise your own values, but don't you guys feel tired sometimes? Like just like stuff like that. It's just like this country wasn't always like that. I'm not saying I knew a time when it was different, but I've at least it's definitely gotten worse in the last like 8 years. And this like vitriol, it just like takes something out of you. It's annoying. Uh, you want to just go like, "Hey, Hillary, how you doing?" You just want to go like walk in the woods or something, like, which I try to do as well. Um, yeah, it gets old, Deb. Like it's having these endless like arguments, like, and uh, I'm proud to. It's good to speak your mind, and I'm glad in different ways as a reporter and as a investigator. I've tried to protect democracy. Really, I have. I mean, that was a lot of the work I did in 22 and 23. Um, so not to get off topic, but so that was really my job when I was a researcher, and that was our job is to. You guys might have heard me talk about trying to think of like how to phrase this. I worked on the midterms in 22, and that was our job was to the nonprofit I worked at was to protect democracy and stop these anti-democratic forces. That's the best way I can say it. And we did I think it was important work there. So and yeah, but you kind of walk in the wood. You kind of just want to walk inside sometimes. And Hammond Up Again said, it's different. We used to come to the U.S. a lot, not much anymore. Yeah. Well, I can't say I blame you. I mean, I still think there's a lot of great things about this country, but like, it's been a rough couple of years. I mean, and what happens here is it's important, right? It's important because it affects it's this ripple effect, right? Affects everything. And Hillary said, I think many people are very tired of this. Bring back boring C-SPAN. Yeah. You know what? That's a great point, Hillary. Yes, like boring, like just sitting around. I never thought I would say something like that, but maybe you just get a little perspective. It's old, I think about myself too, like, times where I got fired up, and it makes us weak too. Our enemies, all this type of stuff that's happening has been exploited by our enemies for many years, like a very long time. And so internal strife is, it doesn't help us. And they see what's going on, right? I mean, look, in the same way that I was an analyst, and still am, but analyzing things that happen in other places, obviously they're looking at us and seeing, seeing openings, for lack of a better phrase. Yep. C-SPAN. Remember that? Or what's that other show? Washington Journal, where the people call in and it's kind of like funny, but I could go for that. I mean, so what do you guys think? It seems like a general consensus is that today was a good move. And then Hillary said they distract us, put us against each other while they plunder. Yeah, I mean, our adversaries, it's been such a long day. I'm usually much more coherent, I promise. As you know, yeah, our adversaries, they see this stuff. I'm going to be interested to see how they proceed as well. That's, disinformation and things like that are something I'm always following. So I checked in a little earlier today. I was looking at some, I was trying to see what the narrative was. And LA Deb said, I can imagine how our country looks to other countries. Yeah. Well said. And then Princess Honey Badger said he should have stepped back long ago. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people feel that way. I don't know if it was a good mood, Deb. I feel like I'm real mixed on it. Maybe that's why when I came on in my head, I had an idea what I was going to say, and then as soon as I started, I was like, you know what? I'm not sure what the truth is right now, for lack of a better phrase. But that's okay, because then we can have this dialogue. And I Paint Girl said, so happy for the news of the day. I'm hopeful. Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I was even now I'm trying to like catch up on all these like party rules and like what an open convention is. I mean, you guys might know a lot more about that, but I've never been an expert in that kind of thing. So I'm sure all the experts are coming out now, especially on Twitter, which seems to just kind of attract that kind of thing. People who instantly know everything, for lack of a better phrase. And RB said the extremes are praised, and the idea words that produce words are like a tree that produces no fruit. Deb said, LOL. Princess Honey Badger said, waiting this late. Sorry, it's getting dark in here. When I started, it's been like super hot out here. as is everywhere. So the sun was blazing. Waiting this late has essentially left us with only one option for a candidate. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's risk involved here. Keep in mind that no reason to mince words. The GOP is marshaling their anti-democratic forces, right? Like I was just looking now. My first thought, again, party politics has never been it's not like my expertise, but I was looking like, how does this work with the ballots, right? And the first thing I see is like Mike Johnson. They're already talking about lawsuits, right? Um, so there's going to be a repeat of what we saw before. It's we're going into dangerous times. I mean, we're already in them, but there's no question that we're going into dangerous like waters here. Hillary said, "I don't think they can pull off an open convention in the time left." Yeah, I mean, a nominee and a vice presidential nominee like ASAP is critical. It's critical. I know that today Harris they transferred some of the money and so that's things are happening. The FEC paperwork is filed, so it's critical to just we don't have that much time left. I know they're going to transfer the infrastructure. I assume that many of the Biden campaign is going to become the Harris campaign. I'm sure, but yeah. Vicky said, "I'm more disgusted with the DNC in totality. No doubt I'll vote D, Democrat, because the alternative is no option for me. Hopefully my fears are unfounded in the end." Vicky, were you a Bernie Sanders supporter? I was just curious because I know that a lot of people sort of felt that way and still feel that way because of what happened in 2016. And I voted for Sanders in the primary. And then I think like yourself, I'm in the general election, they say that they always talk about reporting, you're not supposed to get into that stuff. I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, you know what? Like your work speaks for itself. My work's always been good. It's been fair. I'm very fair. If you guys have read any of it. And so, I'll go ahead and dish some stuff here. What's the difference? I don't support anti-democratic forces. I think that's a fair thing to say. And no reporter should. Okay, thanks, Vicky. I was just curious. I've got friends who are still so angry about that. Like and some who were at the convention and maybe they saw more than I did. And Jonathan, I agree with that comment. And Harris is a very, very strong candidate and a leader. So I firmly believe that. And I really would like to see a debate. I mean, that's going to be some, yes. So yeah, I see we got 26 people in here. Thank you guys. I try to get some of our East Coast friends in. I know it's late. If you're on the East Coast, or let me know where you are in general. I'm just curious. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. What's the phrase? Smash that like button. The phrase that always makes me laugh. Go ahead and smash that like button. Jonathan, if you end up going to Chicago, definitely let me know, because whether I go or not, I want to do some interviews like the one I did with Sean, with reporters on the ground. And if I can't be there myself, then let's do this. I mean, this channel and man, so we multi-streamed that on X the other day, and I think something was going on with StreamYard because it was weird. Like the point being, a lot of people watched it. Because X has always been the platform I used, or Twitter, kind of the most. So that was like, that got a little bit crazy. But the point I'm making is that we can bring in some eyes to what's happening. And Sassafras said, in Hollywood, California. Yes. And Hillary said, I think Harris will tap Shapiro or Bashir. I heard Mark Kelly might be a potential candidate as well. And Hillary said, I think, yeah, Harris will tap Shapiro or Bashir for VP. They need swing states. Interesting. Yeah. Well, no one can say we don't live in interesting times, right? You'll never be able to, no one could say that to you. And RB said the funds were transferred, and I think most staff will stay on. Man, it's getting dark in here. I'm try to expand this. I need to make this chat a little bigger. RB said the funds were transferred. I think most staff will stay on, but Harris is running for president, not being focused on being a VP. Well, we don't have too much time left, right? So, yeah. I've heard Newsome's name. Newsome's name has been floated as a national candidate for a long time, but yeah, I don't know about this one. I'd like less interesting times, said Hillary. Yes, exactly. Hey, Bridge. Yeah, I would love to connect with as many broadcasters as possible. Thanks for that comment. Like, I really like. I there's a lot of things I want to do in this life. It's for sure. But one is like I always would like to host an actual radio show, like a call-in show. I feel like it's an untapped medium. Despite all the technological advances, there's something powerful about that connection, and we can have that here. But I've hooked up when I hosted a couple podcasts. I hooked up I would hook up phone lines, and I know we can do that here too. There's just something interesting about that, and I've always enjoyed that kind of thing. So yeah, if someone has that kind of, I will look up Patty Vasquez on WCPT 820 AM. Yes. Anyone who has any connections like that, you can always hit me up or just put my I think I did it right. So put my email in there. Yeah, anyone who can help us push this channel ahead, I'd really appreciate it very much. Let's see. Jonathan said, happy to be a field reporter. Yeah. Well, we had fun with the RNC one. If you watch the whole thing, we had a lot. Sean and I had a lot of fun on that. And you guys know Sean. If you don't, Sean goes by a cat with news on Twitter. And he's a very good reporter. We've spent a lot of time on the ground, especially covering protests. He's a great guy. And he's from that area. So Sean provided a very unique perspective in that live stream, which is on this channel, about Milwaukee. Just something that is very hard to get from we talked about how reporters kind of like, you're an outsider, and that's not a bad thing. And a lot of times it's fine. But he was able to provide a real perspective on what that town, because that's his area. And Hillary said, I would personally like to see a progressive candidate, but people won't go for that nationally. Interesting. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Won't we? Hammond up again said, I've started studying the swing states and planning campaign strategy. Cool. Were you thinking about, I know you're up north from us, but were you thinking about providing some kind of expertise? I'm just really curious. That's nice to hear, Hammond up again. Always appreciate the perspective. Ingrid said Newsome can't because he's from California, according to this attorney I was listening to earlier. Interesting. If you remember what that was, I'd be interested in looking at that as well, Ingrid. I've seen previous interviews with Newsome. There was one quite a long time ago. It was actually, I think, on Bill Maher, and it was an interesting interview. It's got to be over 10 years ago, and he was one of the few people. He spoke honestly about liking like being governor, and he didn't. They always ask this question: Are you going to run for president? And people always like lie and stuff. Everybody lies because everybody wants to be president. But when he answered, I actually felt there was at the time that there was an honest sort of like he was like, you know what, I like doing this, and I remember it stood out. It was very unusual to see that because usually, like I said, everybody wants to be president. Um, so that was interesting. Maybe he wants to be president now. Some water here. We have 27 people. Thank you guys. There's a lot more I want to do on this channel. So we have some Hammond Up Again said, I'm still working at that though regarding activism. We'll share more later. Excellent. Yeah, feel free to do that. Jonathan said he owns multiple wineries in California. I don't think I actually knew that. If I own multiple wineries, I wouldn't care about being president. Because you'd be drunk all the time? No. Say sideways. Yeah, you do have a stake up there. Up where you are, Hammond Up Again? Absolutely. Yeah. It's a big election. We've lived through a lot. I feel like it's been like 20 lifetimes. And I'm not like that old. Like, you know what I mean? What was I going to say? I don't know. That movie Sideways came into my head, but yeah, thanks, Terry. There's a lot of rules that, I don't know. No doubt the pundits will be all over this. That's for sure. In fact, I heard someone saying that, like, that I don't know. I'm very like, as a reporter too, like I don't mean to put that in every other sentence, but like I'm very like unhappy with see like if you notice like a couple times I brought up how like they talk about how you're not supposed to have a perspective, right? And like I hold myself to that, and like you guys have probably even seen me because I know a lot of people come in here from the protests at Scientology, and there were probably times where you saw me like obviously I don't carry signs or anything, but there were other times where it's like I wouldn't take food and stuff, and and though finally I had to take a burger because I was starving and was broke at the time, I think. But the point being, like you've kind of like seen me, and some of these things seem silly, but they're important to me. But the reason I'm bringing this up is now we had this collective like frenzy on President Biden, where all these media outlets. I mean, look today. How did they even write these things so fast? He dropped out, and there was like instantly all these like. I was like, clearly they can take a perspective, right? And that's what's like so annoying is like, and they collectively, I think it was a frenzy. It reminded me like, I don't know, like the Howard Dean thing way back when. There's this what's the word I'm looking for? Like I would have this word if I wasn't so tired. Like this like glee or something. It's sick. It's really sick, to be honest. To do that. I don't. It really pretty sick from outlets that I subscribe to. Like they're happy about it. This stuff affects all of us. It's not funny. Somebody has one bad night or a few bad nights, and so everything else goes out the window. All the accomplishments that the president had just go out the window like that, right? Because that's basically how they kind of. Now I'm getting all fired up, right? Wait, 34 minutes into it. Like that all just goes out the window. It's very strange. I would never think of doing this job that way. I don't take pleasure in someone else's pain. Like it's so odd. Uh, is that like funny to them? Um, Sassafras said, he fought for the next 5 days after the debate. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but I mean, I know he had a rough couple days, and the following interview was there were rough spots too. So I apologize if I missed something. Yeah, LA Deb said, "Don't get me started on the mainstream media." Yeah, I mean, it's like funny. Like if you guys remember the Howard Dean's campaign was like ended because he yelled into a microphone. Like many reporters just decided, "Oh, you can't be president," right? The decision was still his, but I don't understand this. I cannot get the word I'm looking for. There's this collective just feeding frenzy. God help you if you ever have a bad day, because we all have them, right? Should you be pushed out of the newsroom because some reporters have made some pretty bad mistakes. Some who have made unforgivable mistakes and ethical things that they shouldn't even work again. That happened a while ago. I forget who it was, but this person was caught years ago for the worst ethical violations, and they actually got a second chance, and then they did it again. So anyway, bullying is Hammond up against it. Bullying is really common in adults these days. Really sad, I said that on another stream, right? Too, like we're all going to get there, right? Like I want to believe I'll be really sharp, but I'm not 80 years old, so I'm like, knock on wood, like I'm very unhappy with the way this thing played out, regardless, and I hope they're right. I hope the strategy is right, because if it's wrong, this decision, this what happened is going to go down as in the history books as a unprecedented disaster. If this was wrong, I am not sure what the right answer is right now. Don't let them Monday morning quarterback it either, because they're going to try. Ingrid said Biden is way too stubborn. Not a bad thing, by the way. That carries a lot of people through life. I mean, it can be a quality. I know I'm stubborn. It's good and bad, but sometimes you stand alone. But I'm sure he talked to, I'm sure he spoke a lot about it with his wife and trusted people in his family. I hope whatever he did, I hope he made the right decision for him. I know there's a lot more at play here, but he spent a lot, for whatever disagreements I might have with the president, I have a bunch, believe me, that I'd be happy to go into maybe another time or a couple of years from now, assuming we're still a country, which I hope we are. But he went through a lot, and he's been through a lot more than, and he's accomplished quite a bit. Schadenfreude. Did I say that right? That's the word I'm looking for. That's the word, Angela. Thank you. I'm sure I mangled that. Schadenfreude. Paint Girl said it is sad, but he will have a positive legacy. I sure hope so. See, the thing I was thinking about before I got on here, the problem is that the people we're dealing with, the other forces, and by the way, I know if someone in here, did vote for Trump or is voting for Trump or whatever, we'll keep things civil in here. You feel free to state your opinion. I'm not that guy, so as long as things are civil, I'd be happy to hear your thoughts on what you think about what happened today. I saw a mixture of opinions from the far right. I saw a very interesting narrative about democracy, which I did not expect to see that one. In my past job, a lot of my job um, when I worked at the NGO or the nonprofit was to monitor narratives and what people are saying online, and I sure didn't expect that today. Um, Thanks, I Pink Girl. Yeah, it's been interesting to do this kind of thing. I don't know. Uh, I don't know if I've mellowed out a little bit. It's possible. I don't compromise my own values. That's one thing that really is really like upsetting to me is like the being asked to meet people in the middle, like who are not. I'm not talking about meeting people in the middle. I'm talking about like what they try to do now with the gaslighting. Like, hey, why don't you meet? I don't know, like some fascist in the middle. No, like no, I don't do that. I don't meet Nazis in the middle, like that kind of thing. That's that doesn't happen. But uh, I think we all could do a little better in trying to find common ground. But yeah, I'm not gonna. As one party has moved so far to the right that it's like uh, unrecognizable almost in some ways. I'm not gonna like move so the center's here, if that makes sense. I don't think so. Uh, that's one of the worst things about the last, I think, 20, 30 years is how that center has moved. And then you're asked to compromise with straight up fascists. But it's total gaslighting. It's total manipulation. Um, I have a lot more to say about that. I feel like I could go on about that for a while. Uh, Deb said, I don't know, but when your own party has no faith in you running a second term. Yeah, that was interesting. I felt like there was just this frenzy on him, and I don't know. Polling, I don't really trust. I think we've all been there before, and I'm. The thing is, the president won. This is another thing. He won the election, the last one. Like I feel like this wasn't brought up that much. He won by the most amount of votes in American history. He got like 7, 8 million more votes than Donald Trump, and I just feel like that was like that just went out the window, and it was all about this one bad night. It's like I don't know. I hope it works out. I really do. I'm going to do my part. I know you guys are doing your part. Um, Ingrid, I'm glad you got the notification. I was talking with SPTV Tattoo Warrior, my great mod for this channel, and I was like, because when we did the RNC live, we had a lot of people in there. We had over 1,000 people, but they were like all from X. There was like, and the chat wasn't working. There was like 6 messages. So apparently there was something wrong with StreamYard that day. Which as a subscriber, I would prefer that doesn't happen. But I was really curious. I was like, oh, this is quiet in here. Can Trump go to jail before the election? It looks like the way these cases are progressing, Ingrid. I mean, they've. It's like everything they say about themselves is, or other people is about themselves. Like they've rigged. They've really been able to effectively rig the system. I mean, I know you can see I guess my true colors and my opinions are coming out here, but they're true. I mean, they're my beliefs. Look what happened in Florida. Judge Cannon threw out one of the most dangerous national security. If any one of us did what the former president did, stealing those documents, we'd be in Guantanamo right now. Like that. I worked in the national security space. Like I don't think you guys need me to even tell you that. Like stealing documents like that, and that case just got thrown out. Now they're going to appeal it, but the legal system favors the wealthy, right? And it favors the it's like it's used to just like push things ahead, right? So uh Let's see what else is going on here. Digital Connected Media, how you doing? Good to see you. Why is the GOP afraid of Trump? At least the left calls it out. Great question. Because he wins their base, I guess. I mean, why are they afraid of him? Yeah, the bully, right? Keep coming back to that. There's another analogy too, but the emperor's new clothes. That I feel like that has some relevance here. It's pretty crazy though. It's pretty crazy the fear that they have. They can't win without him. That's the thing. They can't win. The reason they're afraid of him is they can't win these primaries. Once it comes to the general, the Democrats win almost every time. Like, when it comes to the popular vote, which should just be the vote. But in these primaries, they can't win without Donald Trump's support. That's the thing. Digital Connected Media said before Roe Wade fell. Yeah. Vicky said the vote count didn't make mainstream media money. Digital Connected Media said, I heard the GOP is suing to keep Biden on the ballot. LOL, wild man. I don't think anything would surprise me at this point. There's a lot of wild tricks in elections, even aside from what we're talking about. I mean, there's always been America has a history of, people running. I mean, you guys have seen this stuff where it's like, people, they run some third party candidate or, to pull votes. They run somebody with the same name. The Distinguished Gentleman, one of the greatest movies about politics ever made, maybe the greatest, an unheralded classic. If you never saw that, it's weird how that movie just kind of vanished. I actually one time I tried to interview the writer. I was like, please. I was like, and he was very nice. I think he's a professor somewhere, but maybe I can get him on this channel. I'm telling you, if you never saw The Distinguished Gentleman, see that movie. And Sassafras said the Cannon decision will be appealed. Absolutely. Digital Connected Media said, steal $100, 15 years, commit banker fraud for 150 million, slap on hand. The American way. Yes. Well said. If you're going to steal, you have to just get really powerful, and then you can just rip people off. Right. And then Sassafras said it's all connected. If Trump wins, that's 4 more justices. And I Paint Girl said, I really wish Katie Porter could be considered for VP. Any thoughts? Did she she's not running, right? Or did I should know more. I should know California politics. I think she's been very good, extremely effective, very good at these hearings, which are like, being good on television is very important. And she's very effective at that. So did they redistrict? I'm trying to remember what's going on there, but I think she'd be a great national candidate, a great VP. Yeah. Great point. She might be in consideration. I mean, they need to pick somebody quick though. We can't wait on this. And then keep in mind, they have to go through the vetting. It's like, I think some of these TV shows might have addressed it, but when you're going into that, every detail of your life now, even more than there's some vetting when you run for senator or whatever, but when it's going to be vice president, they're going to go through everything. Someone's going to sit you down and be like, look, what do we need to know? Right. Because we don't want it to come out later. It's whatever you can think of. That's what they want to know. They want to know about your life because they don't want the other candidate to exploit it. That needs to be done now, like fast. Or we need to find somebody who maybe has been vetted like that, but I can't think of who it is. There's a difference in the vetting when you become a vice president or president than if a candidate, than even a lower office. Digital Connecting Media said gerrymandering is so blatant. Yes, big problem in this country. Jonathan said, "Thank You for Smoking" is another good movie. Absolutely. About a lobbyist, right? If you can make a movie about a lobbyist interesting, you've done very well. Danny DeVito, Taylor Swift 2024. Nothing would surprise me. I mean, did you ever think I didn't even really watch a speech, but Hulk Hogan? Come on, we got to give Mike Judge an Academy Award for Idiocracy. Maybe we should do a separate stream on Idiocracy, right? I'm sure you guys have seen it. If you haven't, watch it. At this point, I have to wonder if Mike Judge went into the future just to make that great movie. I mean, at this point, like President Camacho, that and Back to the Future, literally predicting Donald Trump, and that's incredible. By the way, I watched part 2 the other day again, and it's like, it is kind of hard to watch now with everything that happened, but it's like, wow. The Biff Tannen Museum. Time to put more judges on the Supreme Court, said RB. Great comment. This is like, how do we say that? Okay, another great documentary. If you never saw it, it actually is the best documentary ever made about politics. Street Fight. It's about Cory Booker's first run for office. That's the one, I think. And the reason I thought of Street Fight was because your comment, RB, about putting judges on the Supreme Court. You either, it's like, not you, but the collective, us, either understand how to play this game, how it's done, or you can do the gentleman's game and lose over and over again. That's the problem. It's a street fight. That's what I'm trying to say. And the Democrats' inability to understand that has gravely cost us. We lost Roe v. Wade, and a lot more. Pink Girl said, "Thank you, a cat with news." Yep, cat with news, good buddy. Sean Beckner Carmichael, check him out on Twitter. And Sean's trying to raise some money to get to the DNC as well. I think he has a Venmo up there. We plugged it on the other one. It's expensive. I mean, the flight, the hotel, the whole thing. Ingrid says Steve Kornacki is breaking down. What about Kamala Harris? I like Steve Kornacki from my home state. I believe he is. Great guy. Amazing at statistics. I love, like, as you guys can tell, I'm a political junkie, but like statistics, like I might know a lot, but like Steve Kornacki knows like the county with 3 people in it. Like he knows how they vote. Like just, that's like the next level. I don't know that. I don't know that stuff as well. Jonathan said, "I'm genuinely scared of a Mr. Beast presidency happening soon. Nothing would surprise me." Gail said, "Women have fought so hard for their rights, for their own body, to their own body. I feel for the women in the U.S. because they're being taken away." Yep. That's well said. Well said, Gail. I assume you're outside of the country, and you're right. It's shameful. Susie asked, "Do you think there'll ever be a formidable third party?" Great question. Our system seems designed sort of, I don't know, probably not. I actually third parties traditionally in this country, their goal seems to be to have their ideas absorbed by the Democratic Party. But the more ideas, the better. It would be nice to see something. I do think people are fed up. I'm not saying the parties are the same now. The Democrats and Republicans, we know they're not the same, but there is a fatigue and there is a public corruption that, I'm not even saying they're corrupt to the same level, but they're pretty corrupt. I mean, look, Senator from my home state, Menendez, look what he was just, Democrat, look what he was just convicted of. Gold bars, acting as a foreign agent, I think, like And then there's the other kinds of corruption, buying stock and all that stuff. That's crazy. It's insane that you can buy stock and be a United States congressman, or your spouse can buy stock, which is what they do a lot of times. Like they buy the stock. That's crazy. They have access to insider information. It's total corruption. That should be totally illegal, and they're allowed to. You can buy and trade stock. There's so many stories about that. I've worked on a lot of public corruption stories, and there's been some improvements on that level. There's been some improvements, but this is a very corrupt country. Very corrupt. At one point, it's probably still the case, a lot of the world's money laundering, a majority of it, a very large, it might be a majority, is facilitated through in this country. It's not somewhere else, here. And in some very unexpected places. Gail said we have 3 main parties and another one too. Cool, Gail. Gail, where are you from? Or you don't have to say. I was just really curious. Or if you just want to say Europe, I'm interested. Angela said the 2-party system is a very strange concept in the world, speaking from Europe. Thanks, Angela. If you want to say where you're from, feel free. I'm curious. Gail's in Canada. Thanks, Gail. Deb said, I feel the 2 parties haven't put the country first in years. Someone said it's become corporate-based, filled with corruption. They're very corrupt. It's the money. It always comes back to the money. And they need the money to win. That's, my cousin, he's passed away since then, but he was, my cousin Al, who was a big player in New York State politics. He was like, he was an aide to like he worked with mayors and stuff, so the point is, one time he said that most politicians started off as honest, but once they were in the system, that's when the corruption happened. And once the money's involved, that's it. I'm not saying you're going to have gold bars like Menendez, but you can't win without having a huge amount of money, which puts you in people's debt. And once you're in their debt, then, you're in their debt. Jay King said, Aussie here. We have preferential compulsory voting here. Yeah, I've got friends over there. I've got a really good friend over there that I talk to all the time. 2024 Karma, one of the best researchers I know, if she's listening, a fellow researcher. She's on Twitter. We talk all the time. And compulsory voting is fascinating. It's I think it's a pretty good idea, actually. We don't do that here. And people don't really vote here. And when you don't vote, And Adam said, in a Canadian context, the GOP has essentially become social credit. Thanks, Adam. And Hammond up again said, in Canada, 3 major parties, the centrist party has a current minority. And this just reminds me of how much I don't know. Like when I read some of these comments, I'm like, I can barely keep up with our politics. And one pink girl said, I would like to see a time that both candidates, Republican, Dem, and so amazing you feel whoever wins the county would be in good hands. Yeah, like if we could kind of like, it wasn't about parties as much, but just like the best candidate, or we liked candidates from different parties, that kind of thing. A Catwood News has entered the chat. Sean Beckner, Carmichael. Sean, what's going on, man? A Cat with News is going to the DNC. Don't forget to support him on Twitter. And now that he's in here, he's going to be doing a live with me at the DNC. Sean, don't forget about me. We're going live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Sean, answer a question. I'm not sure. Would a Bull Moose candidate win today? I don't know. But I know I'm looking forward to seeing your stuff at the DNC, and I would like to go as well. Adam said Donald Sutherland was married to Tommy Douglas's daughter. Tommy Douglas. Is it just because it's late? Because I'm blanking. Politician? Sean is in the chat. Good to see you. I think compulsory voting is I don't know. It doesn't sound like a bad idea. I mean, in this country, it's like a whole thing. Like, people should vote. I mean, yeah, we're gonna do another live. That was fun. Yeah, last one was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, I said earlier on the stream. If anyone in this chat, my first goal is to be there. But if I can't be there, I would like to do as many interviews as possible. So from where I can be. So Adam said Tommy Douglas was a Canadian politician. The father of Medicare. Interesting. The Canadian version of Medicare or our Medicare? Sorry. I'm slow, Adam. Especially at night. Being 8:04 p.m. where we are. Appreciate you guys coming in. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. The channel can be supported at the link tree. The more we do, or the more we can do, the more we will do. So anything is, appreciated. You guys know that. And I appreciate you guys coming in here. More we can do, the better. Canadian Medicare. Thanks, Adam. You guys know your stuff. I'm like, my head hurts reading some of these comments. YRB said, imagine an election with our campaign, but the plurality of votes is a single measure of the appointment. Gail said, if you forfeit voting, you're giving up democracy. Yeah, I mean, and once it's gone, it's gone. And they're always trying to figure out ways. Unfortunately, just the simple fact of the matter is that the GOP is an anti-democratic party who does not want people to vote. Hand-marked paper ballots. Right. It's all just so people can't vote. It's still crazy to me to even think about that. Imagine not wanting people to vote. It's pretty crazy. Sneaker said, "End Citizens United." Yep. I want to see who's buying. Yep. Me too. There's been some improvements in transparency, but I absolutely agree with you. There were some good laws passed. Ironically, it was actually passed during the previous administration. There was a major financial transparency. I can't remember the name of it now, but because it played into like a lot of the reporting that I've done, where when we'd investigate like LLCs and stuff. So now there might be like a loophole here, but basically now there really can't be anonymous LLCs anymore, which is a very big deal. I cannot remember the name of the law, but it was passed under Trump. So now there has to be a name on it, and not a lawyer, a name, somebody, a real person who runs this corporation. Unfortunately, they didn't go the next level and make that publicly disclosable. It's like the government gets it. Not great, but I'll take it. That was a really good thing that passed. And it's harder now to hide ownership now in these companies because of that law. Really important. Can't remember the name of it. Adam said the founders really screwed us up. The presidency is an imperial mess. Yeah, they didn't know, but yeah, I mean, Adam, you're right. They just makes you wonder what they. I know this is like always a subject of like what they would think, right? Like the subject of countless debate. But what would they think? What would they think? Like if they saw Trump. I'll have to research Tommy Douglas. It sounds like a great man. Deb said, no matter how difficult, I can't imagine not ever voting. Yep. Same here. And Ingrid said, I was thinking about this earlier. Ingrid said the Supreme Court just put our president back to being a king. Yeah, I mean, that's. I mean, they have these examples and people are like, because they're true, right? Like, so the president can order SEAL Team 6 to, do anything now, right? Like something really bad. It's true. That's now what this country is, unless another case can get that taken away, like they reverse it through, which occasionally has happened. That's insane. Pretty crazy. Digital Connected Media said greed over basic things needed to live. The fact we fight this tooth and nail is infuriating. Yeah. Everybody trying to get by, all of us, believe me, same. Susie, I think the Supreme Court very much needs reform. I think term limits is definitely something I'd be interested in exploring, as is packing the court. Long overdue. And the ethics code. I mean, so I'll just be upfront and say this. I think the Supreme Court is like, it's so corrupt. I mean, what we've seen with Thomas. By the way, it maybe not to the same level, but that's extended to even other justices that you wouldn't think. Like I think ProPublica followed up on that, and like again, not the same at all. Thomas is pretty outrageous, right? And we've heard outrageous stories, but even they found, I think, even Sotomayor was like having these book signings, and people felt pressure to buy them. I mean, it's not the same thing. Don't get me wrong, and she's a very good justice, I think, but it's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. There's no ethics code. It's unacceptable. Also, there should be cameras in the court. The public doesn't get to see what's happening. I'm like a huge believer in that. Why aren't there cameras? The public doesn't know what's going on in their nation's highest court. Yes, you can read opinions, but it's not the same thing. There's no excuse for it. It's unbelievably corrupt, and they're totally unaccountable. It's crazy. Digital Connected Media said, remove the money and ban the payoffs. Yep. Absolutely. Adam said it's fun to look back at Biden versus Thomas at his confirmation hearing. I should look back at that. I don't really even remember that, but was it pretty good? Digital Connected Media said the insider trading was voted okay for thanks Pelosi. And Deb said, you're right, it has spread the Supreme Court. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like I think ProPublica followed up, or somebody did, and was like, is it the same kind of edging people towards signing your books or that kind of thing? Like it's not the same. It's not the same, but it's still corruption. It's still not acceptable. You're in our nation's highest court. You're supposed to be above, you ethically, right? You're supposed to be above reproach. What's the word? We don't want to have to worry about any of that stuff. It's like when I read one time that, like, I guess it was Alito or no, it was the other one. When I read like he would go hunting with the president, I was like, so the president who has cases before the court and these guys are friends, like that. I don't know. That seems kind of corrupt. Adam said a bill has been introduced to ban congressional investing. And Jonathan said if Trump gets another term, we could be losing the court to corruption for multiple decades. If Trump gets another term, I'll have to delete this live stream. No, I'm not going to do that. You guys know that. Oh, man. I will have a problem, though. I will have a problem for sure. I'll have to. I'll explore my. There's a lot of great places to travel to. I've always been aware of that. There's places I can't go now, guys. Like not like to talk myself up or something like that. Like I'm not like famous or something, but I can't travel to certain countries because of the work I've done. Next thing you see would be me in a video, like a proof of life video. I would prefer that not to happen. So, and all the best to those people I wrote about. All the best. We held you accountable. That's what we do. That's what the job is, right? It's a fun thing. A lot of great people we've lost or are in jail, heroes of mine. Navalny, I've mentioned Joshua Wong. If you've seen the documentary Joshua, if you haven't, highly recommend it. One of my personal heroes. I think Joshua Wong is still in prison, a famous activist from Hong Kong. Incredible documentary. Roman Protasevich, I hope I said his last name. I think he's from Belarus, another really fascinating person. I mean, these people are heroes. Khashoggi, rest in peace. An American, permanent resident here. Paid the price. I mean, there's so many. A lot of heroic people out there. A lot of heroic people out there, that's does give me hope, I never thought I would do stuff like this, and I'm not like any of those people. I mean, I can't I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like a lot of heroic people out there. I think I can visit San Marino, Adam, as far as I know. So many. I feel like I missed. I mean, there's, gosh. Now I was just thinking in my head, like who else? Like who else stood up for what was right? I was in Ireland. I was in Ireland with my mom. We had a great trip recently, and we went to Belfast. We were just learning about, like, oh my gosh, like what a place. Like, and I was learning about, I wasn't too knowledgeable about the troubles, and so fascinating. So fascinating. Some really heroic, legendary people. Some no longer with us. There's a high price to be paid. I'll tell you guys, and I'm not famous or anything, but I paid a pretty high price. Threats, violence, just for just for speaking the truth. It's a very strange country we live in. I almost got killed at a protest. I was in the national news. That was not fun, by the way. Let's not have that happen again. I like writing. Like lately, I've just been writing. I haven't been out as much, working on some stuff. Now I'm thinking about maybe we should do a separate stream just on our heroes or on great leaders, civil rights leader, heroes. So many people. Oliver Sipple, that's another one. You want to talk about an American hero? Oliver Sipple saved the life of a U.S. president. He should be a household name, and most people don't even know who he is. He saved the life of President Gerald Ford, knocked the gun out of an assassin's hand. Absolutely fascinating story. Should be a movie. There's a lot to say about that, but I just recommend looking him up. And he was a decorated veteran as well. I think he won a Bronze Star in Vietnam. Should be a household name, but he's not. And when you see the story, you'll learn more about it. But he paid a high price for doing the right thing. A great man. Should be a movie. I've heard it was in development here and there, but that's something I've actually always thought about. Like maybe I could write that one. It's just a fascinating story. Story should be told. And Adam said Ford dodged 2 attempts. Wow. Yeah. Oh man, I have to get up early tomorrow, but I don't really feel like stopping. We'll see. Yeah. Well, it's been great. Got 27 people in here. Very cool. Thank you for watching. I'm sure you've all clicked like now, but if you didn't, like, comment, and subscribe. Smash the like button, as they say. A series on journalists. That's a great idea, digital connected media. I threw out a couple kind of tutorials. I don't know if you guys saw them, just some things, my thoughts on getting started in reporting, and I'd like to do more of that. They're up on the channel. And on verifying information, I told a little bit of my own story. A cat with news is correct. Oliver Sipple is a national hero, and yeah, you can see his comment right there. He pretty much summed it up. He's a national hero who the president whose life he saved did not even invite him to the White House. Did not even invite him to the White House. Guess why? The reason I'm not saying is because it's so dumb that I'm not like I don't even it's so ridiculous. But when you Google his life, you'll see more about it. The man was a hero. Yeah. We should tell his story. It's like, how can someone who saved the life of a president not be a household name? It just seems crazy. Like, I've been fascinated by that story for a long time. Like since I came upon it one day, and I was like, what? Like, how is this? wonder if I can put a link in here. I guess we can put the wiki in. Wikipedia is actually pretty decent. I'll put the Wikipedia in. You guys can check that out. I'm sure you already looked. Yeah, Sarah Jane Moore is still alive. Catwood News, I believe so. I'm sure she's still in prison, right? Imagine seeing like that, seeing and being that quick to save the life of a president like that. Like, and then on top of that, the president doesn't invite you to the White House. You get a letter or something in the mail, and someone steals it. By the way, later. Yeah, there was some very tragic aspects to the story. So, but still a hero. Still a hero. Man, it's funny on these streams sometimes. I mean, sometimes I can just go and go like hours and hours. Other times I'll do 15 minutes and I'm like, good to go. Oh, it says she was paroled. No kidding. Well, they paroled not to go off too much on that, but they paroled someone else, I think, recently, right? So it's another conversation we had, I guess, about our criminal justice system. Sean said Ford, I think, had the record. No kidding. This sure is a violent country. I mean, we haven't been around that long, and look at what's happened. Obviously, look at what's happened. Sean, don't make me send you a link and bring you up on the live right now. No, we've been going for a long time, but we got to do more of these. A cat with news. Sean Beckner Carmichael. Remember, he's going to the DNC. You guys got to follow him, and he's going to come on here. We're going to do a live. We'll do it live. It's now like, by the way, is this a metaphor? It's now pitch. We started, it was like a Eugene O'Neill, Long Day's Journey tonight. It's now pitch black in here. Oh, you're at the airport? Oh, are you coming back from the RNC, Sean? Welcome back. Hope you're not stuck with all that mess out there. Crowd strike. What happened? Crowd strike. I thought we were the best. Well, have a drink at the airport bar for me, Sean. I'm sure there's a good one. A Miller High Life. No, I don't know. Have whatever you usually have. Crowd strike, man. Yeah, get crowd striked. Oh, you have Friday off thanks to crowd strike? That's funny, having up again. So many people were affected. So many people. Oh, you're still at the airport? Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Text me or that's terrible. You're not flying Spirit though, right? Tell me you didn't fly Spirit at least. Oh, smooth sailing in a few hours, Sean. All right, good. Don't wear your CrowdStrike T-shirt on the plane. In fact, no one should be wearing a CrowdStrike shirt right now if they have those. Don't wear that shirt. Adam said Harris. I know in jest, Harris should choose Bob Avakian as her running mate. That's a good one. Bob Avakian is the founder of. Well, we can have the Bob Avakian discussion on another stream. I'll put a little link in there. So you guys can look into that. Actually, no, I'm not putting in any links. I was about to. I was going to put in the wiki. I was like, nah. I might have to cut myself off soon because I know myself. I'll just keep going, but I also know that I need to veg out, kind of, for lack of a better phrase, before another early day. I'm looking forward to building this channel up quite a bit. I mean, we have 1,600 subscribers, which is super cool. And we did the RNC thing, Sean and I, the other day. Film the Police LA is coming on soon. I know I brought that up before. We've had some. I had to cancel one, and it's like that's going to happen soon. So William, Film the Police LA, Streets, he's going to come on. We had one scheduled, and I had to cancel. I was not happy, but sometimes things come up, and he's a busy guy. Who else? There's a couple. There's a couple more in the works too. So Tori Chrisman, Tori Magoo is coming on. I think wait, what's today? Sunday. Okay, I think this week, and I'll let you guys know about that. We were supposed to do it last week, but we again, a lot of things were happening last week, so we had to reschedule. And then I'm going to interview someone I wanted to interview a long time. It was a super interesting guy about the Fire Festival. So that's going to be interesting. Super cool guy, Seth Krosno, who I've talked to on and off for years on Twitter. Streets recommended you follow us. Me and Sean. Thanks, Deb. Yes. So I've mentioned this before, but as you guys know, well, I think Sean was probably friends with him before that, but we're all friends. We've known each other for quite a while. I mean, and outside of the world that we've all come to know each other at, like from these Scientology protests. Well, Sean doesn't really come to those. Sean, have you been to any of those? But anyway, so the point being, like, in the real world, or in the offline world, we're all great friends. Great guys. Pre-Scientology information center, as they say. Glad to hear that. We've been on the ground a lot, especially Sean and I, many times. A lot of crazy stuff. I think I'm going to make, as much as I want to do this, I'm going to make myself cut off so I can get ready for tomorrow and all that stuff. If anyone has any final thoughts, I would love to hear them. Otherwise, we're suggestions, comments. Feel free to, again, you can support the channel. The most important thing is that you're here right now. Otherwise, go to the link tree and you can support us too. As a teacher of mine used to say, any final questions, support, favorite ice cream flavor. I just walked past the shop earlier. The guys want the one Van Leeuwen. That place is super expensive, but it is good. Be right. Maybe strawberry. I don't know. Like I'm kind of like boring. I'm kind of boring with ice cream. Oh, it's National Ice Cream Day, isn't it? Thanks, Hammond up again. Yeah, good to see you always. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna give myself the hook. So let's see what happens. Otherwise, you guys have a great night. And like I said, I'm trying to do one of these. My goal is one a day. But I was also talking to some folks I trust who are talking about having a schedule and, like, getting a real background and all this stuff, as much as I know you enjoy looking at my refrigerator. So, but we build it and they will come, right? All right, guys, be well. Take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.